Ever notice how some Mazda 3s and CX-5s with 200,000 miles still run smooth and responsive, while others feel tired and sluggish at just 80,000 miles? Same engine, same design, totally different performance. What's the difference? It's not luck. It's not getting a good example from the factory. And it's not just following Mazda's maintenance schedule, because plenty of owners who religiously follow that schedule still end up with rough running engines, poor fuel economy, and expensive repairs. The difference comes down to 8 specific maintenance steps that most Mazda owners completely ignore until performance drops and check engine lights appear. By then, you're not preventing problems anymore. You're paying to fix them. And those fixes cost $500, sometimes $5,500 when an entire engine needs replacement. Let's get into it. Tip number 1. Clean your mass airflow sensor. Here's the truth about the MAF sensor. It sits right there in your intake tube, measuring every molecule of air entering your Skyactiv engine. When it's dirty, your Mazda's computer starts guessing how much fuel to inject, and it usually guesses wrong. That means rough idle, hesitation during acceleration, and fuel economy that drops 3 to 4 miles per gallon for absolutely no apparent reason. The MAF sensor is one of the most common repair items on the 2.5-liter Skyactiv engine and can fail as early as 60,000 miles due to contamination. Here's what dealerships charge for diagnosing this. They'll run a scan, find codes P0101 or P0171, and quote you $400 to $600 for sensor replacement plus diagnostic. But here's what to do instead. Locate the MAF sensor between your air filter box and throttle body. It's in the intake hose with a plug connected to it. Unplug it carefully, don't touch those wire elements inside, and spray it with dedicated MAF cleaner. Not carburetor cleaner, not brake cleaner. MAF sensor cleaner specifically. Let it air dry completely for at least 20 minutes, then reinstall. Total cost about $12 for the cleaner. Total time maybe 8 minutes. Compare that to the $800 some dealers charge for drivability issues that come down to this one dirty sensor. Monthly MAF sensor checks prevent misdiagnosis and unnecessary repairs. Tip number 2. Clean your throttle body. Carbon builds up inside the throttle body from oil mist and crankcase fume, causing rough idling, hesitation, and inconsistent airflow. By 30,000 miles, your throttle body has enough buildup to affect performance. By 60,000 miles, it's choking your engine. Mazda dealers charge $289 for throttle body service. That's for 15 minutes of work and a $10 can of cleaner. Here's how to do it yourself. First, disconnect the negative battery terminal. This is critical. Forget this step and you'll trigger throttle recalibration issues that cause check engine light. Remove the air intake hose from the throttle body. You'll see 4 bolts or clamps holding it. Label everything if you need to. Spray throttle body cleaner on a cloth, not directly on the throttle valve, to protect the component. Gently wipe the carbon off both sides of the butterfly valve and the throttle bore. That black ring of gunk you're wiping away, that's what's stealing your throttle response and fuel economy. Let it air dry completely, then reassemble everything tightly. Reconnect the battery. Start the engine and let the ECU recalibrate for about 30 seconds. Total cost $15 for throttle body cleaner. Total time under 20 minutes. You just saved $270 and your throttle feels brand new. Tip number 3. Address carbon buildup on intake valve. Let's talk about the elephant in the room for Skyactiv engine. Carbon buildup on intake valve. Direct injection engines spray fuel directly into the combustion chamber, which means no fuel washes over the intake valves like in traditional port injection engines. Without that fuel cleaning the valves, carbon deposits accumulate from oil vapor and blow-by gases. Here's what happens. At 80,000 to 90,000 miles, some Skyactiv engines have intake valves coated with tar-like carbon deposits that cause misfiring, power loss, and reduce fuel economy by 4 to 5 miles per gallon. Professional walnut blasting to remove that carbon costs $600 to $900 at most shops. Here's how to prevent it. Use top-tier gasoline exclusively. Brands like Shell, Chevron, Mobil, and Costco carry enhanced detergent packages that reduce carbon buildup significantly. That extra 5 cents per gallon saves hundreds in cleaning services. Every 5,000 miles, add a bottle of quality fuel system cleaner. CRCGDIIVD intake valve cleaner or Chevron Techron. These cleaners specifically target carbon deposits in direct injection engine. Cost per bottle about $12 to $15. And here's the tip most Mazda owners miss. Take your Mazda on a 20-minute highway drive once a week, pushing RPMs above 4,000 for a few seconds. High RPMs create heat that helps burn off carbon deposits before they harden and become permanent. Mazda engineered Skyactiv intake valves to run hot enough to discourage deposit formation and incorporated an air/oil separator in the PCV system. This helps, but doesn't eliminate the problem entirely. Skip carbon maintenance and you're looking at rough, idle misfires and eventually a damaged catalytic converter that costs $1,200 to replace. Stay on top of it, and your Skyactiv engine runs smooth past 200,000 miles. Tip number 4. Service your PCV valve. Here's the Mazda-specific issue that causes more problems than most owners realize. The PCV valve. Skyactiv engines have a large oil separator under the intake manifold on the side of the block. The PCV valve can be serviced, and if excessive vapors make their way past it, carbon deposits on the intake valves occur. A clogged PCV valve increases crankcase pressure, forcing oil past rings and into the combustion chamber. That means oil consumption, fouled spark plugs, and carbon buildup throughout your intake system. Symptoms of a bad PCV valve include engine misfires at idle, lean air fuel mixture, presence of engine oil in the PCV valve or hose, and excessive oil consumption. Most Mazda owners don't even know the PCV valve exists, and dealers don't check it during regular maintenance. The PCV valve sits under your intake manifold. Replacing it means removing the intake manifold, which takes 2 to 3 hours for most DIYers. Plan to replace it around 100,000 miles or sooner if you notice oil consumption above 1 quart every 3,000 miles. While you're in there, replace the intake manifold gaskets. They cost about $25 and prevent vacuum leaks that cause rough idle and check engine lights. A PCV valve replacement costs $150 to $200 if you DIY, or $400 to $600 at a shop due to labor. But catching PCV problems early prevents $3,000 engine rebuilds from oil consumption damage. Tip number 5. Replace spark plugs at 60,000 miles. Mazda might say spark plugs last 75,000 or even 100,000 miles depending on your model. Here's the reality. Replace them at 60,000 miles maximum. Skyactiv engines run lean air fuel mixtures with high compression ratios. That combination creates more heat at the spark plug tip than conventional engines, causing faster electrode wear. Even with premium iridium plugs, spark plugs pulled at 90,000 miles from Skyactiv engines show heavy fouling, rough idle, and fuel economy drops of 4 miles per gallon. Fresh plugs fix everything immediately. Replace spark plugs every 60,000 miles using NGK or Denso iridium plugs, meeting Mazda specifications. For most Skyactiv engines, that's NGK LKAR 7BIX11PS or equivalent. Don't cheap out with copper plugs that need replacing every 30,000 miles. When replacing plugs, inspect the ignition coils simultaneously. Original coils can fail around 100,000 miles. Look for cracks, carbon tracking, or oil contamination. If coils show any damage, replace them alongside the spark plugs to prevent comebacks. And here's critical advice for Mazda owners. Use anti-seize compound on spark plug threads. Skyactiv aluminum cylinder heads can seize plugs, making removal nearly impossible after 70,000 miles. A thin coat of anti-seize prevents that nightmare. Fresh spark plugs maintain your Mazda's efficiency and performance. Neglected plugs reduce fuel economy today and cause expensive catalytic converter damage tomorrow. A set of 4 plugs costs about $40 to $60. Ignition coils run $200 to $300 for a set. Compare that to a $1,200 catalytic converter replacement caused by misfires dumping unburned fuel into the exhaust. Tip number 6, change your oil every 5,000 miles. Alright, here's where some of you will disagree, but it's the truth. Mazda says 7,500 miles between oil changes with their maintenance reminder system. That's pushing it, especially on turbocharged CX-5s, CX-9s, and Mazda 6 models. Skyactiv engines run high compression ratios of 13 to 1 or higher, which generates more heat and puts more stress on engine oil than conventional engines. The oil breaks down faster, especially with short trips where the engine never reaches full operating temperature. Here's the schedule. Change oil every 5,000 miles for turbocharged Skyactiv engines. Every 5,000 to 6,000 miles for naturally aspirated models. Use full synthetic oil always. Mazda recommends 0W20 for most modern Skyactiv engines. Stick with it. Never use conventional oil. Most conventional oils have high volatility numbers, meaning they vaporize more quickly when exposed to heat, contributing to carbon deposit. And yes, always change the oil filter too. Some people try to reuse filters to save $10. That dirty filter sends contaminated oil right back through your engine, defeating the entire purpose of fresh oil. A DIY oil change costs maybe $45 with quality synthetic oil. Compare that to a $5,500 short block replacement when sludge destroys your bearings. Your Mazda's high-compression Skyactiv engine needs clean oil more than lower compression design. Don't skimp on this. Tip number 7. Replace your engine. Air filter. Your Skyactiv engine needs unrestricted airflow to run efficiently. A clogged air filter starves the engine of oxygen. Replace your engine air filter every 15,000 miles or annually, whichever comes first. If you drive on dirt roads or in dusty areas, do it every 10,000 miles. Most Mazda air filters take 5 minutes to replace. Open the airbox, remove the old filter, drop in the new one. Total cost about $20 to $25. Here's what a clogged air filter actually does. It doesn't trap more dust like some people think. It just chokes your engine, burns more fuel, and makes everything louder and slower. You lose throttle response, fuel economy tanks, and your engine works twice as hard for the same power. Way cheaper than dealing with carbon buildup or a damaged mass airflow sensor that costs $200 to replace. And don't forget the cabin air filter. It's usually behind the glove box and filters air entering your interior. A clogged cabin filter makes your AC work twice as hard, reduces heating efficiency, and causes musty odors in your car. Replace cabin air filters every 15,000 to 20,000 miles. Some Mazda models use activated charcoal filters that cost more but filter better. Worth the extra $10. Both filters are easy DIY jobs. Total cost under $35. Total time under 15 minutes. No excuse for neglecting them. Tip number 8. Maintain your cooling system. Your Mazda's cooling system does more than prevent overheating. It protects aluminum engine components from corrosion, maintains precise temperature control for your Skyactiv engine's efficiency, and ensures your heater works in winter. Earlier 2.5-liter Skyactiv G engines can suffer from occasional thermostat failures or cylinder head cracking that causes coolant leaks, overheating, and severe engine damage. Coolant isn't permanent, despite what long life labels suggest. After 60,000 miles or 5 years of heating and cooling cycles, coolant chemistry changes. It becomes acidic and starts attacking the very components it's supposed to protect. Here's the schedule. Complete coolant flush and refill every 60,000 miles or 5 years. Use only Mazda FL22 coolant or equivalent meeting Mazda specifications. Don't substitute green coolant or orange Dex Cool. Mixing coolant types triggers chemical reactions that create sludge. Perform complete drain and refills, not just top-offs. And here's a Mazda-specific tip. After refilling, burp the cooling system properly. Skyactiv engines are prone to air pockets that create hot spots. Run the engine with the radiator cap off, heater on full, until the thermostat opens and air bubbles stop appearing. Some Skyactiv engines experience frozen water buildup in the exhaust system's main silencer during cold starts, causing random cylinder misfire codes. Mazda released an updated main silencer that allows water to drain properly. Replace your thermostat every 4 to 5 years. They cost about $25 for OEM parts. A stuck closed thermostat causes rapid overheating. A stuck open thermostat floods the engine with coolant and prevents proper warm-up. A $75 coolant service every 60,000 miles prevents thousands in cooling system repairs down the road. A blown head gasket repair runs $2,000 to $3,000. Cylinder head replacement, $3,500 to $5,000. There you have it. 8 simple maintenance steps that bring your Mazda Skyactiv engine back to life. These aren't complicated procedures requiring special tools or dealer-only knowledge. They're straightforward maintenance habits that most Mazda owners ignore until performance drops and problems show up. Here's the reality. Your Mazda was engineered to last. Skyactiv engines can easily reach 200,000 to 250,000 miles with proper maintenance. The question isn't whether your Mazda can make it that far. The question is whether you'll follow these simple habits that allow it to get there.